All right, guys, we're back finally again. Episode two. It's been a little while trying to get together, myself and Brittany, with trying out different apps and trying out different sound quality effects and stuff like that.
Technical difficulties.
Technical difficulties, but we're finally back here. We're happy to be back again. Yeah, we're gonna be doing Friday the 13th, part four. My favorite, my second favorite horror film of all time.
That
Uh,
looked like a pretty hefty box
Oh, my box?
for a
Yeah.
DVD.
Oh, no, it's my action figure, actually.
Oh, okay. I thought that was the DVD.
No,
I was
no.
like, holy crap.
I got the DVD, but it's a box set. So if I were to use the
Of
disc,
course you do.
it would, yeah, of course I do. It would have like a cut in between, and I think it's part four and five together. So I was like,
Got it.
I'll just use my action figure. I think the box looks cooler, anyways. So yeah, I think if I was gonna recommend a Friday the 13th film to anyone, it would either be this one or it would be part six. I find both part four and part six are the best for character building, chemistry, storyline,
Hmm.
and it's also got touches of comedic and stuff too. And
Hmm.
the kills are awesome. Like every Jason movie, the kills are awesome. But yeah,
Well, kind of like we said yesterday, because this is our third time trying to film this,
yeah,
hence the technical
technical
difficulties that
difficulties.
we
Yeah,
were running into.
yeah,
Um, the other, so part two, part three, and part four are sequenced together.
yes, yeah.
Like it's like day after day.
You can watch part two, three, and four as one film because they all
Mhm.
happen one after another. Whereas part one, I think part one is like I think part one is like couple years. I haven't done. I'm not 100% sure, but I know
There's
there's a gap.
definitely a pretty big
There's
gap,
Yeah, there's a gap after the
but you could almost say that one you could watch as like a standalone film because there's no doubt that it's a Friday the 13th movie, but it's not Jason.
No, yeah, exactly. It's still
Um, would five and six be this close together?
well, so part four, five, and six,
Hmm.
Tommy Jarvis, played by Corey Feldman, we'll be discussing that one today. Part
Okay.
five and six still carry on from that storyline. Tommy Jarvis is still in part five and he's in part six. And for some reason, they were going to use Corey Feldman's got a small scene in part five, but he doesn't play grown up or teenage Tommy Jarvis. And then grown up Tommy
Okay.
Jarvis is played by Tom Matthews in part six. I think they were going to use Corey Feldman, but I don't think he was available at the time. They didn't want to wait for him, but
Fair.
yeah, they're it's still part of the same storyline. Like you got Tommy Jarvis as a kid
Mhm.
in part four. He's a teenager in part five after the events of part four, and then part six follows the events of part four and five. But it's he's a
Okay.
teenager, and then in part six he's an adult. So there's still like I don't know, let's say
So,
7 year gap in between each of them, kind of thing, right?
and each of them all have fantastic character development. So the more they add on, it actually worked.
Yeah,
I
no,
don't think that really
exactly.
happens too often in franchises.
No, Friday the 13th, honestly, I think Friday the 13th and A Nightmare on Elm Street, even A Nightmare on Elm Street's
Yep, that's a good example.
good for character building and chemistry.
Hmm.
You really like the characters. Like I don't know, I'm not one for
Hmm.
I'm a big Halloween fan. As you know, my favorite is the original from 1978, my favorite horror film of all time. But
Yep,
I'm
which I
all
think is in our lineup
yes, it'll be
of our next few.
Yes, it'll be in our lineup for the next, not the second, not one after this, but the one after. It'll be the third movie we're doing. Um, I just found I find the Halloween franchise all over the place. I'm a big fan of the Laurie Strode timeline with Jamie Lee Curtis, but
Yep.
other than that, I find the Halloween franchise very up and down. It's
Hmm.
yeah, I'm not, like Danielle Harris is a little girl in part four and five. That's where she started her acting career. But
But that's a good example.
yeah, but like
That's a great example.
to be able to decipher if a child is a good actor, like I don't know, like depends on how you look at it. Like let's use Macaulay
Mhm.
Culkin as an example, right? He was a great
Another
actor.
great example.
Yes, he was a very good actor. You could tell, but in the Halloween movies, Danielle Harris in part five, she's mute. She doesn't. I think it's
Mhm.
part five. She doesn't talk at all. And then
I
part
think you're right.
yeah, and then part four, you know what I mean? So, like, it's kind of hard to say, like, if a child actor is a really good actor. Like, Corey Feldman does really good in all of his childhood roles, but
Look at Stand By Me.
yeah, you know what I mean? Yeah, that's
Like,
a brilliant film. That's one of my favorites of all time, right? Everyone knows that movie, and everyone that watches it loves that movie, right? But
yep.
it's like he was more of a teenager in that one. I'd say, like when they're 10 or younger, I just think it's harder to decipher if they're a good actor or not when they're that young.
Especially in a horror movie, because no matter what, they're going to be scared.
Yeah.
And a lot of times, kids, like, it's that raw, genuine fear that you can see on their faces. That doesn't take too much to get that out of them at that age.
No, no, exactly,
So
exactly.
that's a pretty good, that's a pretty good point.
Yeah, yeah. So, I don't know.
But for the irony that you brought up Macaulay Culkin, not to carry too far away, I actually just watched My Girl.
My girl.
I don't know if you've ever seen
Oh,
that one.
I've seen the cover for it, like advertised. I've never,
Hmm.
I've never watched it.
I just did for the first time the other day, and it had like Dan Aykroyd. I don't know if I said his name
Yeah, I
properly.
think you said his name
Like, what?
properly.
Okay, fantastic. Perfect, Brittany.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's child acting, and it's beautiful. Soundboard, perfect. But it's very emotional in the respects that a kid does pass away in the movie. So Macaulay Culkin's female lead character is another little girl, and she plays it so good.
Yeah.
And to me, like, that's a good example of a child actress or actor
Okay.
playing the part, because there's a scene where Macaulay Culkin is laying in a casket and he's passed away. He was allergic to bees, so he had little bee stings on his face.
Okay. Okay.
And she saw that and she's just bawling, and she mentions that, and she says, he can't see without his glasses. Give him his glasses. And she didn't understand death. And I think a good part of that movie was her not understanding death. So just seeing her come face to face, it was raw, it was genuine for a child actor. Like, it was
Okay.
beautifully done.
I see
It
what
was
you're
a gut
saying.
puncher.
Okay. Okay. I see what you're saying. Yeah. I'm
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of some other child actors that played in movies like that. I mean, I don't want to span away from what we're talking about here, but maybe that'll be something we can
Corey
discuss.
Feldman would have been the first kid in the Friday the 13th franchise.
Yes, actually, I think he's
Okay.
the only. I think he's the only kid. To be honest with you,
Okay, that's
I
interesting.
don't think there's any other children. Oh, you know what? I lied. Part six. Uh, Jason
Okay.
walks in. Yeah, part six. They're you just watched part six recently. They're a bunch of
By
teens.
accident.
They're a bunch of teens taking care of a child camp, a bunch of kids at a
Okay.
camp. But like as per yeah, Corey Feldman, he started it. Yeah, he was the first kid, and like all the other
Mhm.
kids that are in part six, they're kind of like a get like not a they're not a lead character. Corey Feldman's the lead, one of the leads in part four, where these other kids in part six, they're kind of just there, like
They're just kind of there.
yeah, you know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
part of the storyline, right? Okay, well the camp's counselors are there taking care of the kids at camp. It's like a summer
Hmm.
camp, and Jason so happens to stroll in there, and there's a scene, it's one of my favorite scenes. Uh we're gonna talk about that one, but I'm gonna talk about it right now anyways. When Jason walks into the cabin and the little girl is hiding under, and she's sleeping and she sees him and she hides under the blankets, and he goes
Yep.
up and he sticks his face right over her. You know what I mean? And then all of a sudden she pulls the blankets off and he's gone. You know, and Jason never killed kids. Like even Corey Feldman.
I was just about to say that.
Even Corey Feldman, like Jason never tried killing him. He never swung.
That was never his intention.
He never
or
swung,
interest.
yeah, he never swung an axe or a machete at him. You know, the one scene he grabs him through the window and he holds him there, and you know what I mean. But he never really intentionally tried killing him like the other kid, like the teenagers. His motto is, you know, if you're gonna have sex and you're gonna party, you're gonna die. So you know the three number one rules in a horror movie is don't say
I was gonna say,
don't say I'll be right back. Do not have sex and do not do drugs or party. Those are the three biggest things in horror.
Jason knew the rules before the rules were even established.
Yes.
So I think that deserves something right there.
Yes. No, for sure.
But before you go into the recap, is there a thing with little boys named Tommy in horror movies? Or
yeah, well, Tommy Doyle, Tommy Jarvis, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I kept getting confused with Tommy Doyle.
Well, I think, I don't know, you know, like, I feel like, so the original the original Friday the 13th was, the original Friday the 13th was, like, ideated off the original Halloween. Sean S. Cunningham.
Okay.
Yeah, so I don't know if it has to do with anything there because Sean S. Cunningham had nothing to do with part 4, but I think they kind of wanted to keep, maybe they wanted to keep the trend, you know, kind of like.
And maybe they just kind of tipped their hat off to Halloween.
Well, it's just like what we were talking about before, you know, the homage with Freddy, you know, Laurie and Freddy versus Jason. Or, no, yeah, no, not Laurie. No,
no.
Halloween, not.
You're right.
Yeah, Freddy versus Jason, Laurie, and then Laurie in Halloween.
Halloween Laurie.
Yeah, so I feel like maybe it's.
And then the first character was Mike.
Yeah.
So it was.
I feel like
little Easter eggs.
Yeah, I feel like well, because if it wasn't for the original Halloween, there would
we wouldn't have all this.
We wouldn't have all this. Like there was Texas Chainsaw Massacre at 74, but that was way different. That was a different vibe.
That's a different kind of horror. It's
a grindhouse production.
Yeah.
You know, Cannibal Family. Like Halloween started the slasher craze, and then you got your you know, your Friday the 13th. You got your Nightmare on Elm Street. You got your why can't I think of it? The Camp movie. There, it's a really good one. It's literally
Camp Sleepaway.
Yes, Sleepaway. Yeah,
or Sleepaway Camp.
I think it's Sleepaway Camp. I'm gonna check it out for a second here. I think it's Sleepaway Camp because you're probably right. It's literally it's literally it's a Friday the 13th rip off, but it's really good. It's one of my favorite classics. I actually just watched it about a month ago. It's
and really in 2023. How many times do we watch a movie and we're like, oh my god, this is such a rip off of this?
Yeah,
but it still works.
Yeah, no, exactly. It's
a wrong turn.
Yeah, it still works. All you got to do is take an idea, you know, maybe change it up a bit, but use the same concept and just maybe change the characters, change the story, where the movie's taking place, but follow the same guideline, and then voila, you have a horror movie that's based off another one that's a ripoff, but people won't know it unless you're a diehard fan. You're like, wait, I know that idea from somewhere. What
this is elements of this movie, but essentially, if you're gonna go there, you better bring it to the table.
Yeah, exactly.
Because nowadays, everyone's gonna notice the little flaws, and sometimes it's the flaws that makes the movies.
Yeah, for sure. Oh, definitely.
But
the flaws
we notice.
Yes. The flaws do make some of the movies for sure. All right. I guess you want me to start off with the recap then?
Let's get it.
All right. So it opens up with a bunch of teens around a fire. This is a scene from part 2. Paul, played by John Fury, he's explaining to everyone around the fire that Jason's body was never recovered after he drowned. So during that time, we realize that Jason is still human. I'm going to touch on that. Jason isn't fully a zombie until part 6 when he gets resurrected. After part 6 and on, that's where he's actually a living corpse, because leading up to part 6, he's still a human. As you
And
know,
that's when things get weird. They're still good, but things get a little weird from that point onwards.
yeah, the movies, as far as um, like when it comes to horror franchises, like I just finished. I just watched Saw X the other night. That
Yep.
was amazing. Probably my favorite one out of the franchise. Brilliant. It was awesome.
And really, how many installments are there?
There's 10 installments, but
So
all of them are awesome. Like all of them, it's not like where you get like a Friday the 13th. Okay, like the first 4 Friday the 13th films are all, they're all together.
they're classic.
Yeah, like we were saying, 2, 3, and 4 you can watch all as one film. They follow each
Yep.
other. Then part 5 they tried something different, where a spoiler, you've probably already seen it anyways if you're watching this podcast. Um, part 5 isn't even Jason. It's someone pretending to be Jason, to be a copycat killer. And then, like I said, part 6, he gets resurrected. Then 7 is the Kane Hodder era, my favorite Jason, as we discussed in our Freddy versus Jason podcast. But part 7, they start to change things up a bit. Like you said, it starts to get weird. So first, part 7, it's Jason versus Carrie. You know what I mean? Because she's got like telekinesis powers, right? Okay,
Yep.
it's kind of cool, right? Whatever. It's still,
It works.
it's still an enjoyable movie. I still love part 7. It would have been a lot better if the MPAA didn't cut out all the gory scenes, because they made it super gory. Like the sleeping bag kill, apparently Jason hits her against a tree 13 times, but in the movie it only shows one, because the MPAA got a hold of it and said, before you release it, we got to cut out. So a lot of the kills are not graphic on the screen. And then you get part
Okay.
8, and then you get part 8 where, Jason ventures off on a boat. It's called Jason Takes Manhattan, but you know, an hour of that movie he's on a cruise ship. He's on a big boat, and like the last
Yep.
half an hour of the movie, he's in New York City, where that was actually shot in Vancouver, I believe. But yeah, and then part 9 is Jason Goes to Hell, the weirdest movie ever. The weirdest. I don't like it at all. A lot of people do, actually. It's actually the first Friday the 13th after the first one that brings back Sean S. Cunningham. Sean S. Cunningham did the first one, and then he didn't do any of them up to 9. And then, I guess everyone was complaining. They're like, okay, well, you know what? Like, we want something different. We're always getting, you know what I mean? That's okay. That's where the Jason Takes Manhattan came in first.
He definitely said, "Hold my beer."
What's that? Sorry?
He definitely said, "Hold my beer."
Yeah.
When it comes to doing something different.
Jason Takes Manhattan, or Jason Goes to Hell. So they did something different, and then everyone complained about it, right? So, and as we discussed, then there was that massive masterpiece of an ending that set up the crossover for Freddy vs. Jason. And then 10 years into production, Freddy vs. Jason happened. So during that 10-year production, they had to put something quick together to keep the fans happy. So they threw together Jason X, which, in my books, that's a guilty pleasure. That's a comfort movie of mine.
It has some pretty decent kills.
I love the kills in it. The kills are awesome. The face smash, the frozen face.
That's the one I'm thinking of.
The nitrogen, that's the best kill in any slasher movie ever. And I love the look of Jason in that movie. I love, the characters are all pretty funny, and the chemistry it's kind of a corny, cheesy. It's a corny, cheesy slasher. You know what I mean? Like it's, it's still a good. I don't know. It's a guilty pleasure of mine. I love Jason X. I watch it all the time. I watch it probably the most out of the franchise, other than part 4 and part 6. Jason X is the third one I watch the most. Maybe I'm just biased because I met Kane Hodder and he's my favorite Jason, but
you're allowed to be biased. This is your podcast.
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly, right? I'm allowed to be biased, people who ever watching. So, but yeah,
But no, you came up with some pretty good points, though. Like, I mean, you backed your shit up for everything that you just kind of blurted out. So, I mean,
haha, yeah.
good for you. Good for you.
Okay. This is good. This is good. So,
before you start it, I do want to go in saying there's 14 kills in this movie.
oh, nice. I actually didn't even count. Good on you. Good on you.
And I'm glad to say that the dog is not one of them.
Gordon.
Thank gosh. Gordon made it. Gordon lived. So yeah, you can go ahead.
All right. Yeah, okay. Where was I? So, yeah, so we discovered that Jason, was human after, Paul from John, played by John Fury, explaining that Jason's body was never recovered after he drowned. And then as he's just talking to them, the lore, the legend, this and that, we get some murder clips from part 1 and part 2. As Paul's explaining, Jason watched his mother get her head chopped off. And then he explains later, he's like, 2 months later, the lady that did that, she disappeared. Her name was Alice. She survived part 1. She was the one that chopped Jason's mother's head off. And then after he's telling the story a little bit, whatever, we get some more murder scenes. And then we get an end scene from part 3 where Chris, the survivor of part 3, she axes Jason in the head. And that's where, he gets the axe cut right over his eye. And then he falls to the ground. And then it ends with, I can't be alive. Or she says, I knew it was you. I knew you were alive, or something like that. And then it cuts to the opening credits. And then after the opening credits, we get a scene: Jason lying on the ground in the barn with the axe in his head. The police are swarming the barn, and they're getting ready to take him to the hospital. Whatever, couple dialogue, whatever, nothing, whatever. Anyways,
Yep.
and then we get to the hospital and we meet Axel. He's played by Bruce Mahler, and we realize he's going to be the one working on Jason. I don't know what he does. He probably does like surgical whatever. Checks out the body.
He's definitely a part-time perv.
Yeah, he's definitely a part-time.
He might be getting promoted to full-time.
Yeah. He gets. He's a comedic role. He's really childish.
He's strange.
Yeah, he's strange. He's sitting there eating a donut.
On a dead body.
I got another girl over there, and she's still cute, even though she's dead. She's still cute, And anyways,
the cops kind of like, what the fuck?
Yeah, they look at him. All right, this guy's a weirdo, but then the camera rolls to a single shot of Jason. He's lying under sheets. He's on the bed, and then you see the sheets start moving, and then it's all quiet, no music. You just see the sheets start moving. And then the camera moves back to Axel, and then we meet Nurse Morgan, played by Lisa Freeman. She's a babe. As Axel's flirting with her, he asks her to meet up later in the cold room. And then, they plan, all right, after lockup, whatever, we'll meet in the cold room, this and that. All right, whatever.
What is the cold room? Is that like the morgue?
Yes, the cold room is where they put the dead bodies. Like, it's the freezer. It's got the...
That's romantic.
It's...
Good for them.
Yeah, for horror movies, I mean, where else would you want to be? Yeah.
Good for them.
So then they go on. They're talking about meeting in the cold room and whatever, and then the camera rolls to her. She shows up in the cold room, and she starts calling his name repeatedly, and he's nowhere to be seen. And then the camera kind of moves to the corner a little bit. You just kind of see like the corner, and you see like the sheets moving. It's all dark, and you see the sheets moving, and then the music starts up. You see like a body kind of sit up a bit, so you're like, okay, it's got to be Jason. But then we soon realize that it's Axel, just being Axel, trying to scare Nurse Morgan. He jumps up at her, scares her. And then she gets all mad with him. And then she just she yells at him, says, "I just came here to watch the news, and that's all I'm here for." Even though before that they were talking about meeting in the cold room, and now
That's a lie.
because he scared her, now she's like, "No, I just came here to watch the news." So they're watching the news, and I don't know if it's the sheriff, well, one of the detectives or something is talking on the TV, and they're talking about all the bodies they discovered, stuff like, yeah, they're talking about all the bodies they discovered and they found at the barn and this and that, and then they start talking about Jason, how the body of the killer is in the hospital. Uh, they named the hospital. I should have wrote it down. I didn't write it down, but it's whatever. It's just little details. Um, and then yeah, they say he's in the hospital, and then they're watching the news, and then Axel goes, "Oh yeah, I didn't say this, but Jason's behind them, laying in the bed. So when Axel
Yep.
got up, he was in the bed beside him, I guess. So when they're sitting watching the news, he puts his hand back on Jason and he goes, "That's you they're talking about, buddy, on the TV." And then Nurse Morgan looks at him, gives him a weird look, and then
Same.
yeah, and then he goes, he looks at her, and he's like, "Well, if you want me to shut up, then you can just shut my mouth." And then they start kissing, whatever, cheesy 80s
In the cold room.
in the cold room where there's a bunch of dead bodies, and then and then the hand. One sec. Yeah, and then the hand. Where am I here? Yeah, the hand of Jason falls out of the sheets and falls onto her leg. So then her and Axel jump up. They start cursing and swearing. She gets all mad because, well, she was ready to, she was ready to have something with Axel, and now Jason's hand ruined it all. So she gets all mad. Her gown is half zipped open. She zips it up, walks out of there, storms out of there, and then she continues on with her nursely duties. And then uh, Axel is making a coffee. He gets all, okay, well, I got cock blocked. I guess Jason cock blocked me. All right, it is
Legit.
it is what it is. It's over and done with. I'm just gonna sit down and have a coffee, and then we see the first kill of the
Warm up after being in the cold room.
Yeah, warm up after being in the cold room. Yeah, and then we get a sorry, one sec here. No, before my bad. Before he sat down and had a coffee, we watched him put Jason in one of the ice boxes. He rolled Jason into the ice box. But then he went to close the door, and the door kind of opened a little bit. So he thought he closed it, but he didn't close it. Then he sits down and has a coffee. Nope. Then he sits down and has a coffee, and then we get the first kill of the movie. Special effects done by Tom Savini, who's done famous special effects for so many horror movies. A lot of the Friday the 13th films.
Yeah, it's a pretty badass one.
Yeah, it's actually one of my favorite kills. It's the first kill in the movie, so I mean, if you want to count the kills that they're showing, when they're doing the flashbacks when Paul's telling the story there, if you want to count those as kills in the movie, I don't, because they're flashbacks from the other movies.
They're repeats, exactly.
Yeah, they're, you know what I mean. So this is the first kill in the movie. I think it's a brilliant kill. It's awesome. It's like, okay, you know exactly what you're walking into when you see this, and he has like it's a saw, but it's one of those saws that have like the metal bar that does like a half circle, and then it's just a thin saw blade right across.
I feel like it's a bone saw, and I wish I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, that's good if that's what it's called. I mean, I wonder where you I wonder where you figured that out from.
Oh my god, am I right?
Then yeah, so he puts.
I might not be right.
He puts the saw, starts cutting his neck. It's close. That's the Weston one. Yeah, that's close. He puts the saw to his neck, starts cutting, turns his head. rips it all the way around, blood everywhere.
Axel's not having a good day.
Axel's not having a good day. Normally, you have sex and then you die, which is how I would like to go. But when you're about to have sex and you get cock blocked, and then you die, well, now you're.
Then you get a saw to the neck, and then your head gets 360'd.
Yeah.
You should have just stayed in bed, bro.
Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely.
And then we're okay. So Axel died. And then we get a scene of Nurse Morgan. She's doing her nursely duties. She drops something on the ground. She goes to pick it up. We hear some music. You know, the camera's kind of rolling behind her as if someone's walking behind her. One amazing thing that I loved about the older movies, because I don't find the new movies do that enough anymore. They don't, you know, they don't do. It's all about the camera, and like the Friday the 13th movies. There's a lot of scenes in the movies where it's like a. Sorry, my throat's a little dry. It's a. I'm gonna grab a bottle of water in a sec. It's a. There's a lot of scenes where the camera is zoomed out in the middle of the bush somewhere, and it's watching them from a distance, a mile away.
Yep.
And, you know, it's got the little creaks and, like, someone stepping and this and that, right? I love how they did that. It's just like, you know, we'll go to the Evil Dead franchise. The very first two Evil Dead, the way the camera's just zooming through the forest, like, that was brilliant. That was amazing. You know, and no other movie has done
I agree.
that. No other movies don't do that anymore. Like, you know, the newer movies, they don't do. They can't, like, some of the movies are shot still well, but the old 80s and 90s and 70s tricks that they did, they don't do movies like that anymore, which is why I love all the movies I love that are my favorites are way before my time. Well, not all of them, but
But no, you're completely right, because if they showed you that like panoramic view where it was like just the woods and then like a little creek or something like that, it's there for a reason. You got to take a closer look and you'll find something else.
Yeah, no, exactly.
Those are some of my favorite scenes.
I
or even if it shows you like a random wall or something with like a shelf full of like little objects or something.
Yeah.
Knickknacks.
Yeah.
Because there's going to be something there that's going to be relevant later on.
No, exactly.
Typically.
Yeah, exactly. No, for sure. Okay, so where was I? Yeah. Nurse Morgan, she's bending down to grab something, and then, you know, the camera, like we were saying, it's like someone's walking behind her, the camera's looking at her, and then she thinks it's Axel. He's about to, you know, scare her. She's like, leave me alone, I gotta get back to work. She turns around, you see a hand, Jason grabs her, picks her up by the throat, puts her up against the wall. He has a little surgical knife, something I wouldn't want to get cut with. It's one of those tiny little, and cuts her from the chest, you know, and he starts going down. And then it cuts, to another scene. Another way that 80s and 90s and 70s did their movies, a lot of scenes, they'd have a murder scene, and then it would happen, and then boom, it would just cut to a random new scene.
A transition.
Yeah, introducing new characters. It's always, you know, like the movies don't do that anymore, man. Like, you know, you have, okay.
Or if they do, it's literally like, You, for example, I think of the show You, when Joe's killing and Love is cooking.
Yes, yeah.
Oh my god, I was like pulling my hair out because I was so uncomfortable.
Yeah.
She's like baking like a cake or something, you know, being all delicate. I'm pretty sure he's grinding someone up in a mean grinder.
Yeah. She's all casual, just, you know, oh, nothing to see here. My husband's just grinding someone with a meat grinder. Like, that's a really good show. We're probably going to talk about that show.
We will.
I love the first 3 seasons. I think the fourth
season
kind of, you know, once they got rid of Love, like I was like,
I agree.
you know, she was
I agree.
really,
And a lot of those characters end up being in horror movies, not characters there, but the actors. They're featured in a lot of horror
yeah,
movies. So
yeah,
that's
yeah.
pretty, so it's relevant, guys. I know we just veered off topic,
It's
but
re-
it's relevant.
it's
It'll come
relevant.
back. It'll come back later. But no, the transitions, a lot of 80s and 90s movies, they have some pretty badass transitions.
Yeah, no, they do. They do, and it's why I appreciate the older ones, man. Like it's
I
just
agree.
boom, 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 boom. You know. Okay,
Yep,
well, we met these two people. They both got murdered. We just watched them die. Boom, right to another random scene. Now we're getting introduced to
exactly.
two other characters. Brilliant filmmaking.
Exactly.
Brilliant the way they did movies.
I know there's so many times where in the newer horror movies someone gets killed and it just like pans off into like a teddy bear's eye that's like on a shelf or something and it ends up not being relevant.
Yeah, see,
They're just, you know what I mean?
that's yeah, see those that's what I mean, right? It doesn't those aren't the things that you know, like it
Exactly.
doesn't make sense, right? Like it's not
I completely
relevant.
agree.
Yeah. But yeah, um so it transitioned. Yeah, so we get after Nurse Morgan dies, boom, it goes right to a scene Trish jogging in the woods with her mom. Mama
Yeah,
Jarvis. Trish played by Kimberly Beck and Mom played by Joanne Freeman. They're just jogging in the woods. They're having a conversation. And then they get home, and we see little Tommy Jarvis, played by Corey Feldman, massive in his younger years.
yep.
I don't know what happened to him now. He's doing music. I think he seems to be doing well. Like he's got a big following. I just
I think he got controversial,
yeah,
or
there
at least was faced with that
Hollywood.
celeb controversy.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah. Well, after Corey Haim died, they
It
kind
has something to do with that.
yeah I think he kind of turned away from Hollywood, but like he blamed. There's I think there's certain people he blamed.
Those kids see a lot,
Yeah, they see a lot more than the adults do,
you
right?
know.
Um, but yeah, so Tommy Jarvis, played by Corey Feldman, he's playing a video
Mhm.
game on the couch. And then he's wearing a really cool mask. And we later on realize that this kid's really
Those are some
talented.
skills.
Yeah, he's really talented, and this is a cool touch to the movie. I think it's really cool how like it's all these extra efforts that they put. Okay, so this story's
Hmm.
about Jason. The story's about Jason. These camp count or these teens going to a cabin. Whatever. Jason's gonna murder them, but then they have all these other random stories, not stories, but
Yep.
like they have a random kid, Corey Feldman, who he's got his own story, but they don't really reveal it.
Hmm.
He's amazing at making these masks. And it's kind of just like something else that brings you to the movie like, okay, this is kind of cool. Like it's not just about Jason killing people. Now there's this kid
Exactly.
that's really cool at really good at making these cool masks. So another thing about the older movies that they do really well. Yeah, so um so yeah, we learn he's really talented. Later on during the movie, we see all the masks, a lot of the masks that he made. Um,
I think he essentially would be the highest billed actor in this movie, if I'm not mistaken, right? Like he's probably the one who ended up with the best career.
yeah. Well, other like you're right. Um,
Hmm.
you're right. Uh, Ted
Again,
White.
he obviously
Yeah,
started at a young age.
Ted White, who played Jason, he was very famous. He was a brilliant actor. He was a really really
Okay.
good actor. He was very professional. You know,
He
but
seemed like quite the gentleman
yeah, he really
with like the
cared.
behind the
He
scenes.
really cared about the cast, the people he was working with.
Yep.
Fun fact. I guess I'll talk about it now because we're talking about Ted White.
Yeah, that's fine.
Um, During the screening of Friday the 13th Part 4, there's a scene where the raft scene where Sam. I'll discuss her later
We'll introduce her
yeah,
shortly.
when we're going through the characters. the raft kill scene. Well, she was getting really cold, and the director, I guess, kept forcing her to stay in the water. And Ted White literally, like, he had to yell at the director to say, "Listen, like, these kids are freezing. Like, if you don't do
Mhm.
something about this, I'm gonna leave the set, and I'm not gonna
And you
I'm
don't
not
want that happening.
yeah, I'm not gonna act. So why don't you let these kids warm up?" Because it was like mid October when they were filming this, right? So like, we don't know what
That's
some of
cold.
these actors go through when they're filming movies. We have no idea. Like, it's not just acting. Like, there's some actors that actually they actually um they get hit in real life when they're in a movie.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like, stuff like that. Like, it's like, oh, well, hit me because I want it to look real. The actors that do
exactly.
their own stunts, that risk their life. Like, I don't know if
Hmm.
we're we'll go off subject a little bit. Well, we're still talking about Jason, but I don't know if I mentioned it in the Freddy versus Jason podcast, but Kane Hodder was lit on fire more than once, and he's got third-degree burns. Like, if you ever meet him,
Hmm.
he wears gloves because he's got third-degree burns. He was lit once on fire in real life, and he actually caught fire. And then when he did that
It
scene,
happens.
in Friday the 13th Part 7, he asked to get caught on fire again a second time. And they actually lit him on fire again for a second time after he was just burned alive, basically, because the fire. You know what I mean? Like, that's
Absolutely.
ballsy, man. Like, a lot of actors, they're that passionate that they'll do stuff like that. They'll
Exactly. They
actually
know
put
their character.
they'll actually put themselves in harm's way for a movie. That's dedication, like, right?
Absolutely.
That's what makes a good actor. Not actors that have CGI, and that's not a good actor, man. You're standing in front of a green screen, a computer screen. Like, anyone can do that. Anyone who's actually willing to put their body in harm's way, that's what makes a
Hmm.
good actor. Just for a 20-minute scene in
And
a
these
movie.
stunt performers, they're people too. They're humans. They're not robots.
Yeah. No, exactly.
You
Exactly.
know.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. So yeah. Anyways, so he's playing the game. We learn that he's
Hmm.
really talented at making these masks. Later on, we learn how really well talented he is. And then he's talking to mom, and mom is asking Gordon, their family dog. They speak to him
Gordon's
like
a good boy.
a person. I like that. That's a good touch to the movie.
I talk to my dogs like that.
Yeah. I kind of do sometimes, and then I don't. I'm like, wait, it's just a dog. Like, it's not a human. But then, yeah, she says, "Where's Gordon?" He says, "I think he went out." Then we get a shot of the all the kids, the new cast, the new teens. They're all driving down the highway, singing a song. All good, cheering characters. I love all the characters
Hmm.
they have in this. They all have good chemistry, especially Teddy and Jimmy,
Hmm.
who, when they're driving down the highway during the scene, we meet Teddy and Jimmy. Teddy played by Lawrence Monason or
Hmm.
Monason, and Jimmy played by Crispin Glover. They're having a conversation in the back. They got good chemistry. They're joking around, and then it's like cut scene of them talking for like 8 minutes or something,
Hmm.
and then they pull up, they stop because they're trying to find directions, and then we get a shot of Pamela Voorhees' grave, and it zooms in, and then the music intensifies,
Hmm.
and the kids think they're lost, so they're looking for directions. So they're like, okay, I think they're looking on a map. I think it was. They're like, okay, let's go this way. It's this way. It's this
Hmm.
way. So they start driving again, and then we get a scene of a hitchhiker, played by Bonnie Hellman. This is the third kill in the movie. Yes, this is the third.
Yeah.
This is the third
Second?
kill.
Yeah. No. Third.
Yeah, this is the third kill in the movie. The banana kill, I like to call it. Um, we see her. She's got a sign. I think it says "World Peace" or something. She's got her hand out. They're like, "Oh,
And
let's."
she's kind of portrayed as a hippie.
Yeah, she's portrayed as a hippie. Yeah. And then Um, the kids start talking about, let's pick her up, let's pick her up. There's no room in the car. I think Doug, the driver, says, where are we gonna put her? Where are we gonna put her? Where are we gonna put her? So they drive past her. Teddy shouts out to her, "Hey, honey, you got a sister?" She turns the sign around. It says "fuck you," and then she flips them off. Then he goes "woof woof" as they drive away. Then she gets okay, whatever. She sits down. She opens a banana. It's
She
just
just decides it's time to eat a banana.
she just decides it's time to eat a banana, and she's eating a banana in a really funny way. Like no one eats a banana like that. First of all,
I think it was very clear from like the first 2 seconds she was on the screen. She's here to die.
oh yeah, yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Like it's just one of those random things. Like, okay, this movie's about a bunch of
Exactly.
teens going to a cabin, and then there's this
Mm-hmm.
random hippie chick that's hitchhiking. Like, this chick's probably gonna get it. And then
Exactly.
yeah, so she sits down. She opens her banana. You hear a bunch of branches cracking. You see foot. You see 2 foot, 2 legs, 2 feet stepping on the ground. She turns around. She gets a knife through the throat. Squeezes the banana. Banana comes out of her mouth. Music, or whatever, the score, the famous Friday the 13th score, and then yeah, then it cuts to a different scene after the
Yep.
kill. Every time there's a kill, it finishes the kill, goes to another scene, all the time.
Yep.
It's a perfect pattern for slasher films. It's the slasher film pattern. Every time there's a kill, it'll just cut to a different scene. You'll see the kill,
Yep.
it'll happen, boom, it'll cut to a different scene.
They use that recipe in so many movies and it
Yeah,
works.
it works. It's in the 80s or the 70s. The 70s started it, I think. Yeah, the 70s would have started it.
Mm-hmm.
Halloween started it. Then the kids pull up to the house. It's dark out. Gordon, their dog, jumps to the doors. Tommy opens the door. Tommy insists Gordon has a girlfriend. He says, we'll talk about this later. Have you been fooling around? The kids get all excited. They made it. Then Teddy and Jamie are having a conversation again, random conversation about
Mm-hmm.
random stuff. And then Trish and Tommy head over to introduce themselves. Hi, we live next door, this and that. Then we get a shot of 2 girls in the bathroom. We meet Sam, played by Judy Arson. She's a babe. And
she would be the girl on the raft.
Yes.
That we were speaking about earlier.
Raft kill, yes. Good call on that. Yes. Yeah, Judy Arson was the one that was really cold, and Ted White stuck up for her. And then, yeah, she's in the bathroom.
See, Jason ain't so bad after all.
No. No. Behind the scenes, anyways. And yeah, so Sam's upstairs talking to Sarah, played by Barbara Howard, and they're just discussing guys, and Sarah's asking Sam how she sleeps with everyone, and she's like, "Well, I just do it." Anyways, random girl talk.
That would never happen in real world. But continue.
Yeah, but no, it's another recipe. It's another recipe for the movies. For the old school horror movies. You learn about every character. It's a random.
No, you do.
It's a random shot of 2 girls discussing something that's not even important in the movie, but it makes the movie. You're learning about the characters, character development. You're learning about the characters, which is really important.
When you say it like that, it does sound like real girl talk. 2 girls talking about stuff that doesn't matter. You're right. You got me. That happens all the time.
Okay, so yeah, so after we have that bathroom conversation between Sam and Sarah, Trish is in the living room with her mom. They're having a quick conversation. Okay, I'm going to bed. And then we get she walks upstairs. Then we get a shot of Corey Feldman, Tommy Jarvis, sorry. He's sleeping. And we get a little shot of the two kids next door in the window upstairs, Paul and Sam. They're pulling their clothes off. And Tommy sees them through the window. And Tommy gets all excited and he's jumping up and down in his bed. And then we see the door slowly open to his room. And it's Mama Jarvis. And then she goes to tuck him in, and then she just tilts her head and she sees Paul and Sam doing their thing in the window. So she goes and she closes the blinds and then tucks him in. He peeps his eye open to see when she leaves, and then she leaves the room. And the camera cuts to the next day. All the kids are walking in the woods during the daytime. Jimmy and Teddy having a conversation again. Great chemistry between these two guys, because this isn't the last time in the movie that they have these random conversations. They're just.
It looks very natural.
Yeah, it looks very, very natural for sure. It looks very natural.
It works.
Yeah, it does work. It works for sure. Character development again.
And Friday the 13th is one where no matter how cheesy or, like, I don't want to say silly, but sometimes it can get silly.
Oh, for sure.
The earlier ones.
Yes.
The character development and the way that they interact with each other is something that's always kept me entertained.
Oh, with the Friday the 13th films?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're really good for that. Even like you said, even the shittier, like not shittier ones.
Yes.
The silly ones.
I would never call them shit. Exactly.
They still stick to the character chemistry. They still stick to that, no matter how shitty the movie, or no matter how lower class the movie is from the predecessors or whatever. They still stick.
That's the thing.
They still stick to the same formula. They still
exactly. And it works for this franchise.
No, it does. It does for sure, definitely. So Teddy and Jimmy are having a conversation for about 8 minutes, 10 minutes. They're discussing girls, this and that. And then we meet Tina and Terry, both twins in the movie, both twins in real life. I don't know which one played which, but Carrie Moore and Camilla Moore are the two twins. They're on their bikes. They run into the kids. They introduce themselves, whatever. And then Sarah,
that was loud,
played by Barbara Howard. She insists. She's like, okay, I'm gonna go get the car. I think she was going to town or something to go get supplies or something. Anyways, and then we get a shot of them, all the kids with the two twins. Now they all met up. They're all.
Can you hear Jeff's PlayStation?
Yes, I can.
I'm gonna go kill them. Hold on.
Okay. All good?
This guy. All good.
All good. Okay, so where was I? Yeah, they're all at the beach. They're all at the lake. They're all swimming. The two twins insist that the kids the two twins insist that everyone comes in and goes swimming. Then Jimmy explains that they have no suits. They have no suits. The twins take off their bra, they throw them, skinny dipping, then all of a sudden everyone starts skinny dipping.
Like the boys didn't know that skinny dipping was an option.
Yeah, right?
Like, oh my god, we forgot our swim stuff.
No, exactly. Oh, we got no bathing suits. Okay, well, why wouldn't you, okay, well, they're asking you to go swimming.
I kind of chuckled at that.
Yeah, like, they don't think that, they're not going to sit there and say, well, do you guys have bathing suits? Come swimming. No, how about you just come swimming? Okay, well, we don't expect you to have bathing suits because you're wearing jeans. Okay, why don't you just go skinny dipping, right? no, we have no.
Are you guys wearing boxers underneath there?
We have no suits. We have no suits. So then Tommy Jarvis runs down the hill and catches everyone skinny dip, and he's all amazed. Wow. Trish finds him.
This kid has some pretty good luck.
Yeah, he does. He does. Trish finds him. Trish like, cover your eyes. They ask her to come join. She says no. She's a little overdressed. Kind of funny there. And then they say, okay, then we're having a party tonight. Come join, whatever. And then we get a shot of Tommy and his sister driving in their car. Tommy makes a remark, some parapetootsies or something like that. Some kind of funny little quote. And she gets, oh, Tommy, don't say that. And then the car dies.
I do like their brother and sister dynamic.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's great.
It's cute.
It's great. It's great. It's fitting for sure. Keeps you.
You have to make sure it works when you do that in horror movies or any movie.
Yeah.
Like if you're gonna show a brother and sister or any kind of sibling pair.
No, exactly.
You better make sure that they interact well together.
Exactly, for sure. So their car dies. They're pulled over to the side of the road. They lift the hood. Music, intense music starts. Just like the camera work I was talking about, there's the camera far in the distance in the bush, with intense music, watching them look at the car. We suspect Jason is nearby because that's why they do that. And then turns out to be Rob, played by Eric Anderson. He shows up. He helps them look at the car. Starts talking with Tommy. Then he helps them out. He gets the car started for them, and then Trish offers him a ride. And then
when do we learn what he's up to? Rob.
Right now.
Okay.
Right now. So they're Trish and Rob are having a conversation on the car ride because Trish asked him if he wanted a ride. He says he's hunting for bear. That's what he's doing out there. So I
could have thought of a better excuse.
That's okay. That's why we're here, right? So they get to the house. Then Tommy insists Rob to come in. He's like, I got something real neat to show you. And this is where we learn that Tommy is really, really talented at making these masks. So we get Rob in his room. Rob in Tommy Jarvis's room, and he's showing him all the masks and stuff like that. And he's like, you make these? These are amazing.
You're like 10 and you make these?
Yeah. I think he was 10 in the movie too. I think that was his actual age. I think he was 10 in that movie for sure. Yeah. Wrong one, but it's okay.
That works.
Yeah,
I got it.
Yeah, that works. So after that, we get all the teens. Yeah, we get. After that scene of Rob and Tommy in Tommy's bedroom, we get all the kids. They're in the living room. They're partying. Tunes blaring. They're drinking.
Weird dance moves are happening.
Yeah. Crispin Glover. I love his dancing skills in this.
It's something.
Yeah, it's very something for sure. And I actually love. There's actually a shirt that says Friday the 13th on it, and it has a picture of Crispin Glover doing those dance moves with the twin, and it says Friday the 13th. Oh my god! Yeah, I wanted to order it.
That's pretty good.
I'm gonna try and find it again. I wanted to order it, but I just never got to it because. It's like.
And I'll go buy the one from Charlie's Angels where he's sniffing the hair that he just ripped out of Drew Barrymore's head. I can't unsee him doing that.
Yeah, I gotta check that out. I'm not. I can't remember that. It's been a while since I've seen the movie, but I know he's in it
Yeah.
for sure.
He's a good actor, but he's overshadowed by that decision.
Yeah,
in my mind.
I guess so. Yeah, they're weird. Okay. So yeah, they're all dancing. We get Jimmy, played by Crispin Glover's unique dance skills. He's dancing with one of the twins. And then Paul, played by Clyde Hayes, turns off the crazy music, starts putting slow music on for him and Sam to dance to. And then we get a shot. Teddy's on the couch, and Teddy keeps trying to insist, and he keeps trying to insist one of the twins. He's trying to get one of the twins to kiss him. He's like, oh,
do you want to kiss my teddy bear?
Yeah, that's a teddy bear. You want to give old
I'd
teddy
be
bear
throwing
a kiss?
up.
Yeah, and he's like just corny, right? But he's my favorite.
Boys,
he's my favorite.
Never do that punchline.
No,
you ain't gonna get anywhere.
I don't know where they got that. Probably that was an '80s thing, or that might have just been a touch to the movie to make the movie right. It's perfect slash.
Someone has to portray that character.
Yeah, exactly. So Teddy and one of the twins are on the couch. All the kids are slow dancing. Rob leaves the Jarvis house. Trish is walking him down the road in the bush. You can tell Trish likes Rob just because the way she's talking to him. Then
I actually had a really hard time deciphering which kid was with which kid was with which kid. Oh my god, that's like a tongue twister. But you know how you watch them and you're like, hey, that person's with that person. I didn't know who was fooling around with who in this one.
No,
aside from Trish and Rob.
Yeah, I know.
I saw that connection.
Yeah. Well, it's because everyone, even Rob, not Rob, Paul and Sam, they're together, but then the rest of them, like
that's true.
The twins are bouncing around because the one twin likes Rob or likes Paul.
No one likes Teddy.
No one likes
Teddy. I think that's established.
Yeah, no one likes Teddy. None of them like Teddy. But yeah, no, the twins are just bouncing around, between Jimmy, Paul, and then at one point Teddy actually has one of the twins. We're gonna discuss that when I start doing the recap. But anyways, I'll go back to the recap.
We're getting there.
So Jimmy's upset in the kitchen with Teddy again. They're discussing girls. Another random 10-minute conversation. And Jimmy's like, oh, you have the hot one out of the two. You have the hot one out of the two. And then, they're just talking. And then Teddy puts his hand through his jeans, through his zipper. And then, one of the twins walks in. And Jimmy looks at her and says, he thinks that's a funny thing he does. That's a funny thing he does. He thinks that's funny. Anyways, then, there's that scene in the kitchen with them. And then we get to we get back to the living room. The twins are shotgunning a beer. And then after the shotgun of the beer, one of the twins, after she wins against her other twin shotgun of the beer, she jumps on Paul, gives him a hug. And I think one of the twins, the one that hugged Paul, insisted, hey, do you want to play some music? Sam comes up. You can tell Sam's like, okay, like this chick's trying to get my boyfriend. She goes up to Paul and she's like, I was thinking about taking a swim. Sam ventures off to go for a swim. And then Teddy's... here we go. Teddy's upset with Paul. This is where he starts talking to Jimmy. He's like, I had her. Because Paul ended up slow dancing with the twin. And he's like, I had her. And then Paul's slow dancing with one of the twins. And then we get Sam in the bush by the lake. She's walking, down the lake. She's going to take a swim. She keeps hearing cracking in the bush. and thinks it's Paul. She keeps calling his name. She goes for a swim. It's like an 8-minute scene where she thinks it's Paul. She just keeps calling him. She's like, okay, I've had enough.
And
Screw
we all
it.
know what's about to happen.
Yeah, we all know. She's like, okay, screw you, Paul. She gets naked. She goes in the lake, and then she jumps in the raft, and then we get that awesome jump scare. That's the scene we were talking about where she's cold, and then
Yep.
the music, and then you see the knife come through the back.
Mhm.
She was laying right side up, like her legs were in the water. She was up to her neck in the water, and then they had a plastic body attached to her neck, laying across the
Mhm.
raft. They cut a hole in the raft. She put her head, and then they had the body right there. And Jason came up, stabbed her. It looked like a very, very, very aggressive kill.
Mhm.
Another that's kill number 5 or number. I think that's after the that's after
4.
that's 4. Yeah, that's after the hippie. Yeah, that's kill 4. And then all right, so Teddy is still trying to pick up one of the twins. Still keeps getting shut down. Paul says he can't do this anymore to the twin he's slow dancing with. He leaves to go outside. He sees Sam laying in the raft, not knowing she's dead. Um, Sneaks up on her and discovers she's dead. And then he swims to the dock, really scared. And then he gets, I think it's an arrow gun. He gets picked up right
Mhm.
beside the nuts. He gets picked up like right beside, yeah, like right at the top of his leg. And he gets picked up. It has a scene of Jason.
Looks pretty painful.
Yeah, it looks very painful. Yeah. Jason has the gun like this, and the camera zooms up with his hand moving up with the gun, and then shows his finger pulling the trigger, and then it shows Paul screaming, and then off in the distance, there's Rob at his tent, and you hear Paul screaming,
Mhm.
and then Rob grabs his machete. He gets all nervous. So he goes out. I think, yeah. So um, he gets up and he starts walking. I think, and then
Mhm.
he notices he walks out in the bush a little bit, and then he turns around, looks at his tent, and then he sees a shadow. So then he walks back to his tent to look in his tent. There's no one there, but all he sees is his rifle broken. His rifle was
Mhm.
broken because he had a rifle. He was hunting for bear.
Bears.
Yeah, for bear. Yeah, bears.
Mhm.
And then, so Jimmy and one of the twins start. Well, the twin insists Jimmy going upstairs. They walk upstairs. They get in one of the bedrooms. They start making out on the bed, and the bed breaks. Random comedic scene. I just,
Mhm.
it didn't need to be there, but it was there to make the movie. It was we
Exactly.
didn't need
Character
to.
development.
Yeah, we didn't need to see that, but you know what I mean. They're making
Nope.
out on the bed, and the bed breaks. Like we didn't need to see that, but it was there for a reason because it's a funny.
Exactly.
It's a great scene in the movie. It was there to make the movie funny, right?
Yep.
So the bed breaks. Teddy's downstairs with Doug.
Mhm.
So he's down. Sorry, Teddy's downstairs with one of the twins, Doug and Sarah. And Teddy finds these old Phase 4 films, the ones with the little wheel and the long, right? And he's like, "Oh, guys, check this out! Check this out!" So they start watching them. They're all getting stoned, laughing, watching these movies, and
Mhm.
then
Breaking all the rules of horror movie etiquette.
yeah, yeah, you're not supposed to get high. You're not supposed to get high. You're not
Mm-mm-mm.
supposed to party. If you party, you die. Then we get. Oh yeah, okay. So Tammy, sorry, yeah. So it was Terry that was upstairs with Sorry, one sec here. Um, yeah, it was Terry that was upstairs with Jimmy.
Yep.
Tammy was downstairs, and Tammy was the one Teddy was trying to sleep with. Um, so Tammy wants to leave. She goes upstairs to go get her sister. And her sister says, I'm not leaving. There's a shot of her and Jimmy in the bed naked. She says, okay, I'm leaving. And then her sister goes, take an umbrella. Then we get a shot of Tammy leaving outside to go get her bike. Lightning lights up against this is a mint shot. I love this shot. Lights up against the house. Lightning goes, and you see a shadow, two shadows, and you can see what's going on. Jason's killing her. Just, and the music intensifies for a minute. And then,
Yep.
yeah.
I would consider this almost an off-screen kill, but they handled it very well for an off-screen kill.
Yes. No, for sure. It is an off-screen kill, but it's not, right? No, for sure.
Exactly. You see the finished product.
Yeah. No, exactly. Yeah.
And sometimes that's all you need.
No, exactly. No, sometimes, you know what I mean? It's, sometimes when it's off-screen kills like that, and like I said, that shot, I love the way that shot, like it was filmed. You get
Exactly.
you get the shadows, the lightning shoots, and then it gets all bright, and then you see, and then the music intensifies it. I love the way it was shot.
They chose the proper path on that one.
Yeah, no,
to let it be the light show.
Definitely.
I agree.
Okay, so we get
that's our fifth kill.
That's our fifth kill. Thank you for keeping track of that. Awesome.
You're welcome.
Sarah and Doug are sitting on one of the guest couches or the love seat. Doug is played by Peter Barton. They're flirting. Okay. They're discussing on the chair. As we know, they will be having sex next. Because Sarah's like, I'm going upstairs. Do you want to sleep on the bottom bunk tonight? Doug is like, you want to sleep on the top bunk? She's like, no. Okay, hint, hint. They want to sleep together. So then Sarah's like, I'm going to go upstairs, give her 5 minutes. Then she leaves. Mm-hmm. She goes upstairs. Then we get, sorry, one sec here. On a chair. Yeah. Okay. Then we get him leaving after. She should give him 5 minutes. Mm-hmm. He's downstairs with Teddy. And then Teddy's like, have a good night. He's like, good night, Teddy. They're all, Teddy's stoned as hell. And then we get a scene of Mother Jarvis. She comes home. There's no power. There's no power on, and mm-hmm. no one is home. And you don't see Mother Jarvis get killed.
I find that's a waste.
Yeah. She just disappears. She's looking for everyone. There's no power, and there's a scene. She walks outside, and she looks to her left like this, and then the music intensifies, and that's all we get.
Yep. I think she might react a little bit in the sense of like we see her do that.
Yeah, well,
but then you don't see anything ever again.
She doesn't do this. She just kind of, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Her face goes big, and then the music intensifies, and then it cuts to another scene. You don't.
And it's like, why?
Yeah, I mean they could have did something creative, but maybe.
I know they were intending on it.
Maybe like I watched behind the scenes. They never mentioned that her kill was actually supposed to be in the movie. No, maybe they couldn't put it in because they had, back in the day when they were filming old movies. I don't know. Maybe they had a certain time limit that they had to do, and they're like, okay, well.
So what I found was Trish was supposed to find her dead in a bathtub later on in the movie.
Okay.
And her eyes were supposed to be like completely white, like rolled back into her head type thing.
Okay.
And Jason was supposed to just grab Trish. Roll credits. That's how the movie was supposed to end.
That would have been cool. Too bad that sometimes they put things in movies when you watch the deleted scenes or the behind the
Exactly.
scenes. You're like, man, why didn't they put that in the movie?
So
It
in
would've
this
made it-
case, they faked it too many times. They did too many fake outs previously, like with the doc, and then they did. I guess they must have did another Jason jump scare at the end of a movie. Whether it was 2 and 3, I'm not too sure how those one ends.
what do you mean? Like,
So they said that they veered away from Trish finding her in the bathtub and Jason grabbing Trish
okay,
because it resembled too closely to Jason doing the jump scare at the end of the movie where he grabs the girl in the boat. Is it in the boat?
Yeah, that's the first.
It's in the boat.
The very, very first one. Yes, Alice is on the boat, and
yes,
Jason comes out of the water, like kid Jason, like kid Jason, like when he was like 10 years old, comes out of the boat, grabs her, pulls her underwater. She wakes up in the hospital. And
yes.
yeah, and she's like, "Did you find the boy?" And the cops are like, "We didn't find no boy." And then she's like, "But he's still out there then." And then the credits roll.
I think that's why they decided not to, because it resembled too closely to Alice.
Okay.
So we just never see what happens to Trisha's mother and Tommy's mom, I should say.
Well, okay,
they did have other intentions with her.
That would have been cool. I mean, if it was too much similarity, it's probably for copyright.
Good reasons.
Yeah, maybe
that could be it too.
Maybe copyright reasons, because that the original was Sean S. Cunningham, right? So this new director that did part 4. You know what? I'm actually I don't know why I didn't. I should have specified.
And you can find it on YouTube somewhere because I watched it. Like Trish, she literally grabs her mom in the bathtub, and she's dead. And then she grabs her, and then her mom's eyes just turn all white.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm actually gonna check. I want to check that out. Actually, I wonder. So you said,
and this is why we do these things.
This is exactly why we do these things. So this scene you can watch, yeah.
Yeah, you can watch it. Yeah.
Oh, awesome. Yeah. So
I'll see if I can find it after for you.
Joseph Zito directed Friday the 13th Part 4. So yeah, maybe I wanted to figure that out. I should have specified. I should have knew this when we were doing this podcast. Who the director was.
We're living and learning.
Yeah, living in trial and error, right?
Exactly.
But okay, so yeah, so maybe that's why they didn't put it in the movie. Probably copyright reasons, because it was.
But nonetheless, she's dead.
Yeah, she died. Yeah, back to that. Yeah,
she did. So 6.
Part 6. Yeah, kill 6. Okay, so
we're at kill 6. Yeah.
Yeah, so you don't see her kill. You assume she dies. Then Tommy and Trish finally make it home. And while Mom is nowhere to be seen, there's still no power. Trish goes off in the woods to look for Rob, and he is not at his tent. She finds articles of Jason in Rob's tent. Reading about, the death and, him being drowned and whatever, and kids missing. And then another camera shot from the bush, again, as someone's walking over. You think it's
they basically built it up for Rob to be very suspicious.
Yeah, it does, because every time he is in the bush walking or something, or what, you know what I mean? It's always that camera that,
exactly.
It's always him that.
And then you see him with a machete.
Yeah, when he walks up to the tent. Yeah, exactly. He walks up to the tent. All you get. No, that was before. Actually, I should have said that. When he was going to look the first time, when he seen someone by his tent, he walks up to his tent, and then you just see the camera, and all it shows is him holding the machete. You don't see his face, or and then it pops down and it shows him.
Definitely looks very sus.
It makes him look suspicious for sure.
Very much.
And then so we realize it's Rob that is walking up to the tent. He scares Trish by accident. You know, what are you trying to do? Kill me? She says. And
Mhm.
then we get Tina in bed with Jimmy. This, after that tent scene, it goes off to another scene. We get Tina in bed with Jimmy. She leaves the bedroom, and so does Jimmy. Jimmy goes to see Teddy, and he's still watching those Phase 4 films.
Mhm.
Jimmy goes into the kitchen to look for the corkscrew and yells at Teddy, "Where the hell is the corkscrew? Where's the corkscrew?" Because he's gonna go. He has got a bottle of wine,
Mhm.
and then
That corkscrew.
the cork. Yeah,
Take note of that corkscrew.
yeah, exactly. Pay attention, people. Um, Hey Ted, where the hell's the corkscrew? Boom. He gets it in the hand.
Oh, I
Look,
cringed. Oh, oh,
looks up. Meat cleaver to the face. Cuts out. Yeah, I love that kill. That's kill 7.
he went out a lot worse than I imagined that he would.
Yeah, I know. Eh? What a brutal kill.
Like, I was like, this is rough.
Yeah, what a brutal kill, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, so then, so we get that shot, and then we get a shot of Tina upstairs. She's looking for Jimmy. He's not there. So she looks out the window to see if her sister's gone, but her bike's still there, so she's confused. Then, as she's looking out the window, Jason is randomly somehow standing on the edge of the house, the window, where it's like 3 feet of walking distance, like 3 feet.
We don't question what Jason does.
No, we don't. He ends
or
up
how he does things.
He ends up in these random spots, and you know what I mean. It's like he teleports. I don't know. He grabs her through the window, throws her right off the house.
See ya.
Yeah. See you later, Tina. You know what's weird too? Reading all these character names. Tina.
I know. As soon as you said Tina,
She's from Part 7. She's also in A Nightmare on Elm Street. Tina is also in A Nightmare on Elm Street. There is a Tina in Friday the 13th Part 7. There is a Paul.
Jaws 2 has a Tina.
Oh, do they? Yeah? Okay.
Yeah, it does.
There's a Paul in every horror movie ever made. Like,
Definitely.
Part 2, the guy that's telling the story about Jason, his name is
Tommy.
Paul. Yeah, Tommy as well. Like, yeah, all these names are, you know what I mean? You're
absolutely right.
Yeah, they're all in all these movies. So yeah, Jason.
Jimmy, I'm trying to think of Jimmy.
Jimmy is in Halloween H2O.
Okay, fair. Yeah, you would be able to just spit out facts.
Yeah. Yeah, he's the one that gets the first kill. He gets the skate through the face.
Just all these great kills, eh?
All these great kills. I know this.
Oh my god.
Of course I know this. Yeah, so Jason throws her out the window. And then Trish and Rob are talking in the tent about Jason. We then discover that Rob's sister was killed by Jason, and Tina, no, Trish, sorry. All this talk about the names. The Trish is like, oh, the guy that killed your sister. And then, Rob's like, Jason's body's gone from the hospital and 2 people are missing. Isn't it a coincidence?
Mm-hmm.
She's like, someone stole his body. He's like, no, there's no way. He's convinced Jason is still alive. He says, Jason is still alive. Trish says, she freaks out because she's like, oh no. She's like, oh no, Tommy's at the house all by himself. Then we have a scene of Jimmy's hand with the corkscrew in it.
Oh yeah, great, fantastic. I wanted to see that.
And Jason grabs a kitchen knife. Like, it's just a little scene of yeah, that's right. It's just a little scene of Jimmy's hand with the corkscrew, and then you see a hand come over, grab a kitchen knife, and he just walks away.
Yep.
Teddy's watching those Phase 4 films. There's not very many teens left.
Nope.
Teddy's watching those Phase 4 films.
We're dropping like flies.
Yeah, they're dropping like flies.
So, with Jimmy, we are at 7?
Yes.
Okay.
We got Axel, Nurse Morgan,
yep.
the hitchhiker Sam, Paul, both twins. No,
Oh
actually,
fuck, we're past 7 here.
yeah. Okay, 1 second.
Did Paul die yet?
Yeah, Paul. Okay, so I'm gonna do it in the order they died. So we got Axel, we got Nurse Morgan, we got the hitchhiker, we got Sam, we got Paul, then we got Terry, we got Jimmy, then we got Tina.
8.
Okay, 8. So this is number 9.
8. Sorry, guys. We'll do a better
Yeah.
job of organizing our kills.
So Teddy's gonna be number 9. He walks up to the projector because he's all stoned. The girl that he's watching on the projector, she's naked. He's like, "Oh, you want to give old teddy bear a kiss?" Doing his
line.
His line, and then all of a sudden the film stops. Like it's like someone hit the film and it stopped rolling, but it's just turning, and he can't see anything. He's blinded by the light. He turns around. He calls Jimmy's name, and then boom, he gets a knife right through the projector to the back of his head, and then he starts falling down as the knife's cutting the projector screen with blood.
Leaving a nice little blood trail. That one's my favorite kill. I don't know why.
No, you don't, honestly, you kind of don't, you know he's going to die, but you don't think he's going to die like that.
They did it very well for the 80s.
Oh, for sure. No, like
it was very well done.
It's the 80s, man. Like the horror movies, practical effects, pure practical, no CGI whatsoever. I love it.
100%.
I wish it looks more real. Like CGI. A lot of CGI does look real, but
sometimes it does a great job for movies.
Yes, no,
you know what I mean?
Yes.
There's some of my favorite movies that have CGI in it.
No, for sure.
It's about how you go about it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's like, this is a horror podcast. We're talking about Fast and the Furious, for instance. Okay, so let's talk about CGI in that. The CGI in that's ridiculous. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, like that's impossible. That's literally impossible. So you have nothing to do but laugh at it because you know how fake it is. But if you get like a CGI, like I don't know, let's use like Deep Blue Sea. There's a couple CGI scenes in that, but it's possible. It's a shark, right? It's possible CGI.
Exactly.
The scene where Samuel L. Jackson's giving that speech and the shark comes up and grabs him and pulls him underwater. You can tell it's CGI, but it's not not erotically. It's not like retardedly impossible
Titanic. Look at the Titanic in 1999 or 1998. I can't remember which one it was. That's one of my favorite movies. I'm a 1990s girl, of course it is.
Well, it's James Cameron.
But
James Cameron's one of my
favorites. A lot of it is computerized.
Exactly. And, it's not...
And I had to watch a documentary to even realize, like, oh my God, that's cartoon?
Yeah.
I would have never thought so. So there's one shot where they kind of show the boat and it shows a lady walking with her son. It's a goddamn cartoon. But they masked it so well and put all these little fine details in. We're too busy. We're not looking at those two cartoons walking. We're looking at how shiny the boat is. We're looking how glossy that window pane is. Like, it's amazing.
No, that's a perfect example. CGI can work when it wants to, but when it's, like I said, when it's
don't take advantage of it.
Yeah, when it's something like Fast and the Furious, like, you know what I mean, man? Like, come on, like, it's impossible.
Exactly.
Like, why, you know what I mean? Try to stick to making it as real as possible. Like, I know movies are fake, but, like, they keep it...
And for that franchise, they went and used it to replicate Paul Walker after he passed, just so at least we could actually give him a final goodbye that he deserved. Why didn't they stop it there? I couldn't tell you.
Well, there's a story that I know the story behind it. Vin Diesel got them all to sign a contract for 6 films, and he'd pay them so much money. So because there's a contract, but you know what? contracts can be broken. You know what I mean? Like,
Yep.
Paul Walker died. Maybe
For the
just,
integrity of the franchise too.
yeah, maybe just let it go, man. Like, anyways, we won't talk about that.
But you're not wrong, because again, that was another one that used to shove in my face when we were young, was the Fast and Furious movies. We watched all of them in class.
Yeah, at that time, I think there was 3 of them.
Yeah, we definitely watched Tokyo Drift in class. I remember that.
Yeah, we watched all 3 of them. We might have watched. I can't remember if part 4 wouldn't have been out by then, because part 4 just part 4 was I think 2000.
I think 4 was when we were in high school.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, 4 and 5 were in high school. You're right.
Okay,
but
I thought so.
So we'll get back to this now, so we're not venturing off too much. I mean,
maybe we'll do final. Oh my god. Maybe we'll do Fast and Furious one day. You never know.
Yeah, you never know. It is a horror podcast, but yeah, once in a while we're gonna do something to kind of.
We do whatever we want.
Yeah, basically, yeah. And you guys are just gonna watch because you love hearing us talk. So.
And one day we're gonna let you guys join us.
Yeah.
Later on down the line, we'll do some guests and stuff.
Yeah. No, definitely. All right, so we got Sarah and Doug. They're both in the shower. They're actually the last 2, I think, from the teens. They're the last 2.
And before you talk about this one, I guess the director wanted to veer off the typical cliche of the girl being in the shower, like Psycho, for example.
Okay.
So they wanted to put the guy in the shower instead.
Yeah, okay. I love
reverse psychology.
I love the kill too, because I love the way the kill is shot. We'll talk about it when I talk about it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So back to that. Doug thinks Paul is in the bathroom because you hear noises. Yeah, because Sarah left the shower. She's getting ready in her bedroom. Doug thinks Paul is in the bathroom, and he's like, "Oh, I dropped my soap." He throws soap on the ground. Dropped old soap, buddy. You want to come grab it for me? And then we just have a shadow in front of the shower. I love the way this this scene is shot. All you get is a hand come through the glass, and it grabs.
It ain't Paul.
Yeah, it's not Paul. No, you get Jason's, and he grabs Doug's face, and he squishes his head against the back of the shower, and then you just get a shot of Jason's mask. I just love how they did that. You get the hand through the shower head, smashing his head, crushing Doug's head against the back of the shower, and then boom, it zooms out, and you just get a shot of Jason's mask. I love
Ted White even said he felt bad for how hard he had to push the actor's head up against the shower.
Oh no shit! Eh? Okay, yeah. I don't know that one. That's cool. Yeah, that's
and the actor just kept saying, "Make it real, dude."
Yeah, that's the thing. That's the thing with those
the fun of the game.
Those movies nowadays, they do, or movies back then, they do that. Now, you know what I mean? Everyone talks about how great
it's a liability now.
Yeah, how great Tom Cruise is. The guy literally stands in front of a green screen.
Yep.
And that's not a good actor, man. You know what I mean?
And we don't want to see people get hurt, don't get me wrong, but sometimes you will have to make creative decisions that you could walk away with a sliver or a lot worse.
Exactly.
For the fun of the game.
No, exactly.
Absolutely.
100%.
Would you rather do 10 shitty takes or one good take where you walk away with a couple bruises and you might be sore for a couple of days? I'm no actor, so don't get me wrong. I don't know if that's actually how it works, but listening to a lot of the behind the scenes shit.
If I was an actor, that's how I would do it. I would
just let's get it over and done with properly the first time.
Exactly. No, exactly, for sure.
And obviously shit still happens. Look at that one actor where a gun went off last year and he got criminally charged. Alec Baldwin, I think it was.
Oh yeah, I read about that actually. I see.
Because shit happens.
Yeah, shit. Yeah, exactly.
It's a job.
Yeah, it's part of your job.
I know your career, sometimes people don't go home.
Yeah, exactly.
And it should never happen at all anywhere, but it's still a job. It's still, people are still humans.
It's the name of the game, exactly.
Unfortunately, yes.
Yeah.
Look at The Crow. Is it Brandon Lee?
That played the Crow in the movie?
Yeah, and then he died during filming.
Oh, no, I don't know about that.
We'll do that one day. We'll watch that movie and we'll look into all the behind the scenes shit.
Yeah, we're gonna have to do that one for sure. That's a
Because I'm
classic.
pretty sure that's the story.
That's a classic. I haven't seen that one in a long time. Actually, I might actually.
It still falls under horror.
Yeah, it does. Oh, for sure, for sure. It definitely does.
Fantastic.
If they're McFarlane makes action figures strictly mostly horror guys, and The Crow is an action figure that they made. So
well, la-di-da, looks like we're gonna have to do it one day.
I'm probably gonna watch it when I
yeah, you're gonna be floored.
I'm gonna watch it when I get off this podcast.
Do a little bit of research.
I will. No,
because Brandon Lee passed away while filming.
Really, eh?
Yeah.
Shit, eh? Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Back to that shower kill, though.
Yeah. No, I love that. Yeah, I love I love the way that kill was done.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so then Sarah's wondering.
I think she finds him, eh?
Yeah. Well, she does. Sarah is wondering what's taken him so long. And Jason does what Michael Myers kind of does too. Every time he kills someone, he likes to like place them as an ornament.
Yeah, I've noticed.
You know, I think they got that idea. Like Friday the 13th is
paying homage.
Yeah, it's a rip off to Halloween. It's a rip off to the original Halloween.
But they do it well.
Yeah, they changed the concept. They changed the the curriculum a little bit. Not the curriculum, but the the curriculum.
The way they do things.
Yeah, they just changed
instead of on Halloween night, it's Friday the 13th.
Yeah, and then instead of a psycho kid coming from an insane asylum, going after his family, going after his sister, well, this guy kills teens that keep visiting.
He has PTSD.
Yeah, that keep visiting. Yeah, he definitely does. He definitely does. Visiting, killing teens that keep visiting the camp where he died. And he's wearing
because in the back of his mind, they're the reason why he drowned.
Yeah, exactly. And they killed his mother. Not every teen.
So he's kind of like not a vigilante, but like he's out for revenge 24/7. This guy.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he's out for revenge 24/7.
He's driven.
Yes, and he'll never stop until he kills every teen in the world.
Exactly.
All right, so Sarah's wondering what's taken Doug so long. She walks in the bathroom and she sees the shower with the door smashed and then blood, glass, you know what I mean? And then the camera goes to a trail of blood, shows the trail of blood on the floor, yeah, and then she looks up and he's hanging behind the bathroom door. And then she runs, she's screaming, running all over the house. She goes to run out. I like how they did this. So she goes and runs down the stairs. She goes to run outside, and then there's an axe that comes flying through the door from outside, breaks through the door, hits her in the chest from the inside, and you know what I mean? He threw the axe, whap! You know what I mean? Hits her between the chest, she falls on the ground. And then as soon as that scene happens, it gets a shot of Tommy Jarvis walking down the stairs. It makes it looks like he was the one that did that. It was kind of cool the way they did that.
Jason obviously excelled at axe throwing at summer camp.
Oh, definitely. Because I can't throw an axe like that.
I can't even barely lift one, for fuck's sake.
Okay, so yeah, Tommy's walking down the stairs and he sees someone's trying to break in the door. Trying to open the door, shaking the handle. Hits the glass. We think it's Jason. All of a sudden, they break the glass, hit the lock, open the door. It's Rob and his sister. Mom still isn't home. Trish, they're running around. Where's Mom? Mom's not back yet. There's no sign of Gordon either. Trish,
blood pressure spiking.
Yeah, blood pressure spiking for Brittany. Trish tries to use the phone and we see Jason. We get a shot of Jason. His hands. He grabs the breaker from outside, or yeah, something. The electrical box.
Yep.
Breaks it off the wall, and then the phone doesn't work. So Trish and Rob run next door. Oh, okay, never mind. Yeah, okay. So they do find, yeah, Gordon actually is in the house. My bad. Gordon wasn't in the house earlier. Gordon was in the house.
Being a good boy.
Yeah, being a good boy. He was with Tommy. Trish and Rob grab Gordon and they run next door to the kids' house. They notice it's all quiet. They're walking through. It's very weird. All the lights are off. Things look broken. No one is there. Rob goes in the basement, and all of a sudden, Rob says, "Trish, wait upstairs." So Trish is waiting upstairs with Gordon. Rob walks downstairs, and then all of a sudden we hear Gordon whining, and then we just see him kind of walk away a little bit. And then Trish is like, "Gordon, where are you? Gordon, where are you?" She can't find him. All of a sudden we get a shot of Gordon jumping out the window. Which I don't know if he jumped out the window or if Jason threw him. Because Gordon, I'm pretty sure we still see after this scene. Anyway, so we see,
as long as we don't see any dogs die.
Yeah, as long as we don't see any dogs die, that's that's the most important. So we see, we get it. You're gonna be all right.
I'll be fine.
So we see Tommy. He's at his house. He sees the news articles that Rob had. He's reading them, and then Trish walks upstairs to look for Gordon. She sees the shower door is busted with blood. She then finds Doug hanging on the door. She runs downstairs to go get Rob, and then Rob gets confronted by Jason, probably the most terrifying kill in the movie. Rob is like, "Oh, run, he's killing me, he's killing me."
I actually have a trivia note on this.
Perfect.
Let me go find it. So this is actually something our teacher told us about. I can't remember what grade we were in. I don't remember too much from high school, but I remember Miss Carmichael explaining this to us. So Joseph Zito based Rob's death scene in which he screams, "He's killing me, he's killing me, he's killing me," as Jason attacks him on an article he had read in the New York Times about the real-life murder of Kinney Genovese. She was stabbed to death in the middle of the night while walking to her apartment. The article claims, and this is what I remember Miss Carmichael telling us, 38 neighbors heard her scream. Some people even turned their lights on as they heard, "Oh my God, he's stabbing me, he's killing me, he's killing me." But no one did anything to help her. Coincidentally, the murder occurred on Friday, March 13th. So starting in the early 2000s, many of the journalists questioned the accuracy of the article, but Zito had intended the sequence to be particularly gut-wrenching, as Rob has been established as a capable opponent for Jason. Upon viewing screenings of the film, however, Zito realized that the way in which the film was filmed made Rob seem pathetic and weak, rather than making Jason appear merciless, and often caused audience to burst out laughing.
No shit. Huh.
Yeah, but I still remember Miss Carmichael explaining the Kitty Genevieve thing. And I guess whatever witnesses there was just said, like, it was blood-curdling. "Help me, he's stabbing me, he's killing me, help me."
Really, eh?
No one intervened.
Shit.
Yeah.
I wish I could remember that. I can't remember.
You may have skipped that day.
Yeah, maybe. I didn't go to school a lot.
You were too busy running across the street to go grab movies for us to watch while she was explaining that part.
Yeah, probably.
But yeah, so that's a little based on a true story tidbit that happened.
That's interesting. That's interesting. I
Yeah.
didn't know that. That's kind of cool, actually.
But I think his intent was to show Rob, like, just overpowered. Help me! He's killing me! He's killing me!
Yeah, yeah. No, that's well, they did a good job on that, anyways, because that was a terrible.
I didn't laugh. I definitely didn't laugh.
No, not at all. That was a terrifying kill for sure.
I played it off as like, oh, maybe this is just cheesy because it's the 80s.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Yeah. No.
Like, think of Scout Compton Taylor delivering that line.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
You know, it would be it would be hard hitting.
No, definitely. Definitely. Yeah, she's over the top, that one, for sure.
In the best way possible.
In the best way possible. Yeah, she's really good. I like her.
Yeah.
All right. So we're good, eh? We're good to go back on
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool. All right.
Keep the train rolling.
So Trish runs over next door to her house. Okay, wait. Yeah, so Rob's screaming, "Run, run." She runs upstairs, but then she wants to turn around and go back downstairs because she wants to see if Rob's still alive. She discovers Rob is dead. As she runs, she realizes she runs up, she runs away, realizing Rob is dead. She runs up the stairs.
Her potential love interest.
Yeah. Yep. Well, her savior, As she's running up the stairs from the basement, Jason grabs her leg. She gets away. She tries to run out one door of the house, finds one of the twins on the ground in front of the door. So she turns around, goes to run out another door. Jimmy is hanging, blocking it. So she breaks
There's Jason just arranging all of his corpses everywhere.
Yeah, exactly. Like a little mannequin.
Playing with his toys.
Playing with his toys, just like me. Playing with my little action figures. So she breaks the window and escapes the house, back to her house. They board the door, and then Jason throws Rob through the window. First, we get a shot, before this happens, we get a shot of Jason to leave the house. The other house, he grabs Jimmy as he's hanging, blocking the door, and he just pulls him off, walks through the door. And then
you get to see that corkscrew in his hand again.
Yeah, yep.
Fantastic. I wanted to see it a third time.
Then we get Trish and Tommy, they board the door, and then Jason throws Rob through the window, breaking the window.
Yep.
Tommy, I can't remember. Tommy is standing in front of a window.
Yeah, with his back kind of turned against the window.
And we get a scene of that, and then Jason comes to the window, grabs onto him. Trish hits him with a hammer. They both run up the stairs.
They didn't tell Corey Feldman that they were doing this scene. So Jason coming through that window and grabbing him, genuine terror.
I remember that, actually. I remember seeing. There's also none of the kids seen Ted White.
Yes, he didn't want to break character.
Yeah, and until they started filming the movie.
I think this is a common thing that people do
for horror movies.
While filming horror movies. Yeah. Yes.
It's a brilliant. It's
stay in character, right?
Yeah, it's brilliant. To film a movie.
If you find out that Jason's this big teddy bear, are you gonna be naturally inclined to react that way?
No, exactly.
Probably not.
Exactly. No, for sure. All right, so they both run upstairs to Tommy's room and put a shelf in front of the door, blocking it. Jason breaks the door down with an axe. He pushes the shelf out of the way, but he's bent over a little bit. Trish picks up the little small box TVs that they used to have, puts it on Jason's head while he's trying to unlock the door. Jason falls over in front of the door. The only way they can leave the room is walking over Jason, because Jason is in front of the door. So, they start walking over Jason. Trish gets attacked by Jason as she walks over him. as she walks.
Notice again, he doesn't really want to go after the kid.
No,
Like, yeah, he grabbed him through the window, but I think that was more to scare the sister.
Yeah. No, exactly. Yeah, for sure.
You know?
Yeah, Jason doesn't. He never goes after kids, like little
No.
kids. He never does.
I'm sure if that kid were to paint the picture that he's a bully, change of plans, because obviously I'm sure Jason has a thing to go after bullies because he was obviously a little boy that was bullied.
Yep. Yeah, that'd be a good one. I never.
I'm sure that would probably change his opinion of kids.
Oh, definitely.
But if this kid is portrayed as innocent and just kind of there up until that point, I can't see Jason really going after them.
No, that'd be a good one though with the bullies there. That'd be a really good one.
You know, I just feel like that would be something that he would not tolerate.
No, for sure. Yeah. Where were we? Oh wait.
Yeah. Oh, he's going after Trish.
Yeah. Trish walks over. Jason attacks her. Jason chases her over to the other house. He corners her, and she has no choice but to jump out the window. Yeah, he chases her. She runs all the way upstairs, and he blocks her. She has nowhere to go, and she jumps out the window of the next, she ran over to the teen's house next door, jumps out the window. People seem to jump out windows or get thrown out of windows in this movie. This is like the third time. First, there's one of the twins.
It's a thing.
And there's Gordon. And, now talking about it, I didn't realize, but yeah, there's 3 people. Gordon's a dog, but he's still a character. He gets thrown out the window.
I think the most inaccurate thing is, like, why aren't y'all cut up?
Yeah.
You guys should have glass in your skin.
Yeah, no, exactly, eh? Yeah, I know if I were to jump out a window, I'd probably have a few...
Oh, guaranteed.
Yeah. Oh, guaranteed, for sure. So
it actually bothers me in a lot of scenes where, say, someone goes through a windshield, someone breaks glass, they're crawling around on their hands and knees. I feel like that's not realistic.
No.
You'd probably get cut up pretty good.
Yeah. No, I don't think so either, actually.
At least go the extra mile and spray some blood all over them, right? Just to make it look more...
Yeah. No, exactly. Yeah, exactly. No, for sure.
But yeah, can continue.
That's all good. All right, so she jumps out the window, and then the camera zooms to her after she jumps out the window. We see her moving. She's still alive. Jason looks out the window. She jumped. He realizes she's still alive. So then we get a shot of Tommy Jarvis cutting his hair in the mirror in the bathroom. Trish gets up, walks back over to the Jarvis house. She discovers Tommy is still home, and she says, "Tommy, you were supposed to leave." Mm-hmm. And then Jason, you can see Jason slowly coming around the corner of the door, like the door that, I think Jason broke it down at the Jarvis house. Mm-hmm. Jason slowly creeping around, and I think she can hear him because, she starts swinging. I don't know if I can't remember if she picked up the machete, but all of a sudden, Jason's sneaking up on her, and she starts swinging the machete right away. He doesn't even have a chance to grab her. And then Tommy's still shaving his head. She's fighting with him.
What a time to shave your head.
Yeah, we don't. Yeah, we don't even know what's going on, right? It's like, okay, your sister's fighting Jason downstairs. Why are you shaving your head?
BRB, let me just shave my head.
Yeah. Why are you shaving your head? What an odd time to be shaving your head. But anyway, your sister's about to get brutal mutilated. Okay. So she swings the machete. She gets Jason right here.
Mm-hmm.
There's a scene. It's a cool effects. Practical effects. The best.
There's a thing with hands in this movie.
Yeah, hands too. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there's a lot of things that we didn't realize now that we're talking about. Okay, there's the mirrors, there's the mirror, or not the mirrors, the windows, there's the hands,
Yep.
All the people named Tina and Trish.
I was about to say that too.
And Paul and Tommy.
It's an interesting one.
Yeah.
It's probably why we're an hour and 54 minutes into it.
Yeah.
And we're not done yet.
No, we're not done. So Tommy's shaving his head, and then he runs downstairs, and he yells at Jason to turn around. Tommy has Jason in a confusing trance. He's saying, "Remember, Jason. Remember, Jason." He's got him all confused.
Jason's probably like, what the hell?
So now we know why Tommy was shaving his head. It was a tactic to confuse Jason, I guess. Yep. Then as Tommy has Jason confused, Trish then gets up and grabs the machete. Oh yeah, that's right. So before Tommy ran downstairs, Jason ended up on top of Trish and he was choking her. That's what he was doing. And then Tommy runs down the stairs, calls Jason's name. Jason turns around. He has him in the confusing trance. So Trish gets back up from the ground. She grabs the machete, cuts his mask off, and we see the reveal of his face. Trish is like, whoa, like, oh my God, and he's deformed. The effects were amazing.
They really were.
Trish is shocked and scared. Tommy picks up the machete because now Jason is turned. No, 1 sec here. Okay, so Trish cuts off the mask. Yeah, Trish cuts off the mask, and then she drops the machete, I think, because she's scared of what he looks like. And then
I think she gets caught off guard because of that.
Yeah, and then Tommy decides to pick up the machete and hits Jason right here in the face around the eye. Yep. Jason falls to the ground.
Deeper.
Deeper. Yeah, the machete, as he's falling, the machete's going a lot more into the face. You see he's he's groaning.
Yeah, super uncomfortable.
Yeah, very, very, very uncomfortable. Looked very uncomfortable. And then Trish hugs Tommy. Okay, we killed him. She hugs him. And then the camera rolls to Jason's hand. Jason's hand starts moving. Tommy then grabs the machete again and continuously starts attacking him over and over again. Die! Die! Die!
Have these characters, like, traveled to the future and watched Scream? They're double tapping. Jason knows the rules of horror movies.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think I wrote that down in my notes. Tommy double tapping before double tapping was cool.
Was even cool.
But no, lots of interesting shit in this movie.
Yeah.
No, definitely.
Yeah. So, as, die. Trish is going, Tommy. And then the camera zooms off that scene. Then we get Trish in the hospital, and she asks to see Tommy. The cops say only for a few minutes. They're kind of confused because I think Jason was gone. His body was gone. So they don't know who to think is, if Jason was actually a real person. They don't know if Trish was the one that killed everyone because Jason...
Is it this little kid that just shaved his head bald and makes a bunch of masks?
Yeah, exactly.
My money's on him.
They claim, Tommy killed him, but they don't have... I'm pretty sure the body's gone. And then, so... the cop, she says, "Can I see my brother?" He says, "Yeah, only for a few minutes." Tommy's there at the end of her room, runs in as she's, laying in the hospital bed, runs over and hugs her. We get a scene of her hugging. We get her back, but you see Tommy's face, and then his eyes go big, and then some music intensifies, and then it rolls to the credits.
Yep. With that daunting look.
Yeah.
In Tommy's eyes.
Yeah, no, that was, it was like wondering, okay, what's going to happen next? Like,
yeah, me too. I was like, serial killer vibes? Is this where we're going?
Yeah, it was kind of weird, eh? Like, when you
Do they?
No.
Do they expand on that?
No. Well, part 5, Tommy is in like not a mental hospital, but he's in like some facility.
Rightfully so.
It's a camp facility, like it's a campground,
Oh.
but it's where a bunch of a bunch of people that have weird problems,
Mhm.
and he goes there, and he keeps dreaming about Jason, and he keeps.
I could see that happening.
Yeah, it's we're gonna do franchise.
I think we're doing 6 later on down the line.
We're doing 6 later down the line because that's one of my.
Of course, eventually we're gonna kill off the franchise, though.
That's what we're gonna do all 11 or all 12 films.
Yeah.
Eventually, we're gonna do that. But
I think what our plan is, once we're done the 20 that we currently have, are we gonna try to do franchise in orders?
I think that'd be a cool idea. Yeah.
I feel like we'd be
only
veering off less.
Only franchises that matter, though. I mean,
of course.
Like, I'd love to talk about Wrong Turn 1, but there's only one Wrong Turn movie. You know what I mean? Like, we're
just like there's only 2 Jaws movies.
Just like
I got you.
Yeah, just like there's only one Lost Boys movie. Yeah, like, but franchises that actually matter, those are the franchises we'll be talking about.
And we could always just kind of tip our hat off a little bit in the body of like the first movie, like Wrong Turn 1. We can talk about 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and number 21, whatever they're on by this time.
Yeah, no, for sure.
But we won't go into it as much as we will for the first movie because to me, it's only the first movie that matters.
I actually watched that last night. Well,
I don't mind the second one.
The second, the second one.
I like Henry Rollins.
I was gonna say Henry Rollins is good. The second one's actually not that bad. The second one was good. It's just, the second one started this weird incest, inbreeding, you know what I mean, franchise. Like, even in the second one, I think the brother and the sister are banging in the woods.
When they start getting jealous of, like, the brother
and
looking at that other... Yeah, I know.
It's like, why? Like, you know what I mean? You don't need to add that. It's grotesque. Like, no one cares. You know what I mean? Like,
all we're here for is the kills anyways. Yeah. So skip this shit and concentrate more on that.
Yeah, but it's just,
I get it.
The first one was done so well. Like I said, Stan Winston did the cannibals in that movie. Stan Winston also did Michael Myers in Halloween H2O. He did the dinosaurs in Jurassic Park. He's got.
Is this the guy we were talking about last time?
Yes.
Where he works for James Cameron, Steven Spielberg.
Yes. He does.
That's pretty badass.
Yeah, he's got a very, very good resume.
But yeah, that's part 4. Friday the 13th, part 4.
That's Friday the 13th, part 4.
Yep.
The best.
And if you're watching this the day that we drop it, happy Friday the 13th. Good luck.
Yeah. We'll be dropping this tomorrow. For Friday the 13th.
Which would be Friday the 13th.
How fitting. But yeah.
Absolutely.
If I were to recommend, like I said at the beginning of this, if I were to recommend any Friday the 13th film, it would be this one or part 6. Both.
Yep.
This one and part 6. I like this one just a little bit more than part 6. This is my second favorite of all time. I love what they did to this. All the way they shot it. Like I said, we talked about the chemistry with the characters, the kills.
Absolutely.
The effects, Tom Savini, because I don't think Tom Savini did any of the kills in part 6. But this is more of a dark vibe than part 6.
It is.
This is more of a creepy, scary one, and part 6 is more like I find it more of a comedy than a horror because it's really funny. There's a lot of funny scenes in part 6.
And I think a lot of people, they always go back to that, like, camp counselor portion of Friday the 13th. Yeah. That's the first one and a few other installments, too.
No, exactly.
But it doesn't always happen at a summer camp.
No, exactly, for sure. Like,
There's a lot more different settings. Different things seem to drive Jason. Obviously, number 1 would be probably getting vengeance for his mother.
Yeah.
I guess.
Yep.
Going after teens who have sex, do drugs.
Yep.
basically anything that Randy references in that Scream 1 horror movie rule book.
Yeah,
That's what Jason's after.
don't say I'll be right back. Don't
Just don't.
yeah, don't have sex or party.
Don't have sex.
Yeah, don't do drugs.
Exactly.
Yeah. Those no, exactly.
Stay at home and read a book,
You stay at home
and you might live.
or watch movies on watch horror movies.
Or watch our podcast on Friday the 13th, and you might be safe. Jason won't get you.
Awesome. All right. I guess.
Well, friend,
Yeah.
we did all of my trivia as we went. So
We're all
until
good.
next time.
Awesome. We're all good.
Alrighty.
All right. Have a good night. We'll
Cheers.
be in touch. Later,
You
Brett.
too.
Bye.
Toodles.